This particular presentation looks into the topic of dirty work and what it means, and what is considered to be human-animal work. This particular presentation will discuss the different interpretations of dirty work and a few of the job occupations that are associated with it, and will also draw upon 3 personal experiences of mine that I feel relate to these 3 key points that I have chosen to identify and discuss within this presentation. There are many definitions out there considered to describe dirty work. One of these being that dirty work is occupations or job roles which are likely to be perceived as disgusting or degrading. Often, dirty work is typically associated with that of work with animals, but it can range from care assistants to night workers. Typically, jobs that do not entail favourable tasks by employees. In 2012, Ruth Simpson discussed how dirty work is stigmatised with lower levels of society, and that people involved within that type of work seem to have a low cultural priority and have no career advancement prospects or job satisfactions within their job role. The context of this particular topic area that I am presenting identifies the close working relationship between both animals and humans, and how some individuals assume this to be dirty work and forget the importance of the work they do in aiding us in completing certain everyday tasks. I will explore the social construction of dirty work and how society as a whole seem to view this, as it has a variety of different assumptions and interpretations. I will question whether, in fact, all occupations contain aspects of dirty work, and how it isn't just these low-paid, seemingly degrading occupations that seem to be identified by this particular dirty work stigma. Lastly, I will explore how society places this negative stigmatization upon these various identified job occupations. Moving on. Using a variety of academic literature and sources, I identified 3 key points to discuss. The first of these key points that I have identified regarding this particular topic is: does in fact every job occupation out there on the market show us aspects of dirty work or dirty work associated tasks? Animals are closely linked to many occupations, such as farming or various types of food production, and they are known to help to make cultures and help us make the world what it is today. Dirty work is associated to animals due to the physical filth and smell of working with them. These jobs are seen as degrading for some individuals, but society needs to recognise that it is in fact not just animals that present such dehumanising and demoralising jobs. In fact, many other occupations show this too. take, for example, caring for the elderly, or jobs with unsociable nighttime hours. As individuals, we do not see these as favourable careers amongst the majority. They seem to present aspects of tasks that most would be most unwilling to participate within. As a society, we constantly attempt to remove and distance ourselves from dirty work because we stigmatise those involved as people whom socially and morally we don't want to associate ourselves with. We see them as both social degradations and to have low morals amongst society. Though dirty work can be said to be found in aspects of most occupations, and we do not always need to define it so severely as to be employees with low morals or low social class. Because, for example, vets, they work with animals. Yes, they have to deal with the filth and smell that some animals present, but these vets are extremely highly skilled and educated and highly professional, and they also receive career progression and high rates of pay. So then how can this occupation be considered to be dirty? Or take, for example, care assistants who care for our elderly. Yes, again, this contains messy or dirty jobs, but without them, what would the elderly do? And this job must be rewarding and is admirable. Also, we mustn't forget that even top managers are considered to experience these aspects of dirty work within their job role. They have to deal with confronting issues daily, whether it be complaints with clients or disagreements or sacking of employees. These are often tasks that they do not want to participate in, as they may see them degrading to their high status or position, and they want to highly avoid taking part in them. So again, we see such a broad prospect of different jobs that contain these dirty work factors. Relating to this first key point, my personal experience in relation to this would be that of my supervisory position I held within a busy restaurant for many years. Waitressing is often perceived as not a very highly skilled profession, but society forget that this can be a very difficult job for individuals, and it does involve these dirty tasks, yes, but these tasks should not overmask that it does require skill and a high class service to complete. Daily, as a supervisor, I would have to deal with complaints from the general public, and I would have to strive to deal with them as effectively and efficiently as I possibly could. As for the fact that dirty work is described to have no progression, this is so untrue. I progressed from at 16, I was a normal waitress within this restaurant. I progressed to a supervisor, receiving much more responsibility, higher rates of pay, and if it wasn't for my studying, I would have chosen to stay, and I would have had prospects then to progress even further with management roles, even higher pay, even more responsibility. But yes, I'd still have to deal with these dirty aspects, but I'm receiving job satisfaction at the same time, plus I am progressing. Therefore, this stigma of dirty work needs to be changed. I will now move on to the second point of this presentation. This is that society has seemed to have shaped what dirty work is, and has in fact placed such a huge stigma upon it. Dirty work is seen to be jobs or occupations that are perceived by society to be physically, socially, and also morally tainted, and offer individuals with no job satisfaction or any chances for career advancement. But this is wrong, as we have seen before in point 1. Instead of seeing the positives and importance of some of these jobs that contain these dirty work aspects, we forget the positives. Take care assistants or security guards. We stigmatise these roles as a whole, which makes the identity management of such individuals that partake in these jobs a huge issue in society. Society deems these people who undertake these types of work to be a lower level of society, with low social class and low overall morals as an individual. As the world has socially constructed by society, then this is what a lot of people are encouraged and widely encouraged to believe, which needs to be changed because it is not fair upon the employees that take part in their jobs. They are not appreciated for doing something that to them they see as skilled. Society's stigmatization needs to be altered and changed so that the individuals are stop being blinded by a stigma and can see that this whole dirty work concept isn't completely correct, and they are not realizing the importance of some of these jobs, nor are they appreciating what it entails for the employees partaking within them. My personal experience relating to this second key point is that I personally worked within a busy nightclub part-time whilst finishing my 3rd year studying at Keele University. This job is viewed by some to be dirty. Yes, it offered me no aspects of progression. It was completely unsociable hours. But for me, this job still required high levels of skill. I didn't set out to particularly career advance with this particular role. I just wanted to ensure I had money to get me by in the last few weeks of studying. I also enjoyed myself working here. So how can this be a dirty work job? How can a dirty work job be described as so dehumanizing when they're not taking into account that people do enjoy these? And there are positives. Society would judge this job role. They don't know the reasons for me getting it. So in my eyes, I would describe this as neither degrading or dehumanizing, but to others who have gone along with this stigma, may do. Moving on to my final point to this presentation. I wanted to look specifically into human-animal work and whether that as a whole should be defined as dirty work, as in this dirty work being degrading. Yes, this job is physically dirty. It's not the cleanliness of animals working, it's not the cleanliness of jobs working with animals. But take veterinary, for example, like discussed before. It does involve dirt, but it's not degrading. It's highly skilled and highly paid. Some of these jobs are highly skilled, offer career progression to the individuals involved. We also seem to forget that animals are in fact highly intelligent, and sometimes it is a privilege to be able to work with them and learn about the skills that they actually have. They help us with companionship, transport, food, and scientific research. So how on earth can jobs be dehumanizing, looked down upon when they provide us with such assistance within daily tasks that we need to complete? Without them, what would we do? Where would we be without animals who help us transport, help us as companions, such as aiding medical illnesses as anxiety and depression. Animals can be essential in benefiting individuals suffering with such medical issues that without them, some cases would struggle. My personal experience that I view to relate to this third and final point I have made is that I am not personally keen on animals myself and would not partake in any occupations that would require me to work with them, as I particularly would not enjoy it. This has caused me to sway towards this stigma amongst society. I see the jobs as dirty work because it's something I wouldn't want to do. But through looking through this research and literature, I have discovered that there is an importance to animals. Some humans wouldn't be able to complete tasks without them, and occupations would also be difficult to complete too. Personally, I suffer with anxiety myself, so therefore I really should start to think about this aspect of how animals aid us, because they can make you feel so much better and relaxed when individuals are suffering and cannot, in this case, be seen as dirty. A few questions around this topic area. How has your experience highlighted different types of dirt or stigma? Well, firstly, my restaurant supervisory experience highlighted specifically how I felt that people viewed this occupation as dirty due to the lack of advancement and lack of skill they feel that it requires, when in my view and experience, this stigma needs to change, as it is certainly not the case. My bar work experience identified how again society viewed this job as dirty, one which had unsociable hours, but they need to realise people set out to complete jobs for different reasons, and not everyone agrees that each job is degrading as they see it to be. Question 2. In your view, can organisation techniques make a difference to wider views of stigma or only to perceptions held by individuals close to or doing the work? Personally, I think this depends how much attention and care the outsiders have regarding the techniques of a particular organisation. The importance and skill levels to some occupations needs to be more widely known amongst society so that the stigma may be reduced or removed. Question 3. I think, in your view, can work rewards make a difference to wider views of stigma or only perceptions held by individuals close to them doing the work? I think personally it can change perceptions, because if outsiders can see employees progressing and career advancing with rewards within an occupation, then they may change their view away from believing the negative stigma surrounding the profession. And finally, to conclude, dirt and animal human work presentation. It is clear that dirty work can be seen in the majority of occupations, just in some that is more apparent than others. Society are very opinionated when it comes to these dirty work tasks or jobs, and need to realise they need to be done, and others may be viewed differently, and not always degrading, and may in fact actually offer them rewards and career advancement. Animal human work may also be considered dirty, but society needs to remember the importance of it being carried out and the high intelligence of some animals. Thank you for listening to this presentation.